Did See It Thieves fix every exploit and cheating all in one update? Well, no, but they did fix a lot of stuff, and we're going to go over all of it. Some of it's great, some of it's terrible. Don't worry, we're going to get into all of it. Before we get started, I just want to say I'm trying to reach 5,000 subscribers, and if you could help me get there, that would mean a ton. I am going to be going back through every single exploit to explain which ones still work, how they work, what changed about them, and I will also briefly talk about the new anti-cheat system. Like I said, I'm also going to go back through and I'm going to look at all the patch notes and explain how they impact each exploit, and some of them aren't even true, so let's talk about those as well. First, we're going to do the exploits, then we're going to do patch notes and stuff, and then we're going to very shortly talk about the anti-cheat system at the end. Starting with the most viewed exploit on my entire channel is the Vault Key exploit. This exploit uses the Ashen Vault's Voyage to guess where the key is going to land. You kind of know which island it's going to be on and get a ton of keys way quicker than you're supposed to be able to, and then you can sell those keys or just use them for the vaults. But I'm sure most of you guys already know that. Is this exploit fixed? Well, unfortunately, yes. But I do want to talk about this as well on every exploit. I could see people finding a pretty easy workaround for this. Has it been found yet? No. If it had been, I would have been making that video instead. But this doesn't seem like something that's too hard to find a workaround. So that's not a guarantee that it will come back, but I could definitely see that exploit coming back in the near future. But for now, it's patched. So the way that they explain this in the patch notes is the Gold Hoarder's Vault Voyage has been updated to prevent players from predicting the location of treasures. So I think they made it a little bit more random, but I'm sure there's still some pattern to it, so we may be able to figure it out still. Next up is probably the best exploit I have posted, the Seafort exploit. Now, this exploit used different Seafort voyages to respawn raid loot, which was insane, and I made two versions of this video back to back because someone updated me the next day about how to make it better. So I'm going to be going over both of those since I did upload two of them. Now, the first version that I uploaded was you use the storeroom key to unlock it before finishing the fort and you respawn that loot. Now, this is fixed. I even tried getting the storeroom key from a different fort and it still did not work. I couldn't even find the storeroom key on the active fort. So I don't know how they fixed that, but they did. I'll explain what they said in the patch notes in just a second. The second version is the one that most of you are probably familiar with, where you get a key from a different sea fort and you bring it back to the one that you're doing and you respawn the loot that way. This has also been patched. I unfortunately do not see this one being easy to break, easy for it to come back anytime soon, because it looks like they literally just changed it so that once you pop up for the raid voyage, it just spawns once. It doesn't look like it looks like they completely took out the respawning mechanic of that even being possible, which could put a lot of other just game methods in jeopardy. So I will test those as well. But for now, I don't see that one coming back anytime soon. The patch notes explain this as players will no longer find treasure from a sea fort or a siren shrine reappears after leaving and re-entering a cleared area. But this patch note is partially a lie. I can confirm that the shrine exploit still works perfectly fine, even though they state that it should not reappear after leaving and returning to cleared areas. I have been able to recreate this both at the Shrine of Hungering and the Shrine of Flooded Embrace. So even though, like I said, they claim this one's fixed, it definitely isn't. I did it by go down, you dive to a shrine, you go down, you complete it, and then you die inside the shrine, which is the way that you guys said would speed this up massively. I haven't tried it with swimming back down to the shrine, but you die inside the shrine, and then the loot will respawn. Like I said, I was able to replicate this at two different shrines, and it replicated. It did each one like 6 or 7 times. So like it will still work. That one is not fixed in any sense. However, because they tried to fix this and they claim they did fix this, I have a feeling this one's gonna be fixed pretty soon. So if you want to do this exploit, do it soon before it's gone. Next up is the Merchant Alliance cargo crate exploit. Now this one's a little bit older, and this one has actually been patched for quite a while. I am working on multiple different replacements for this exploit, so stay tuned, but for now, it has been patched, and these current patch notes don't even say anything about this exploit because it was previously fixed in a different update, but I did want to just mention it because it is one of my more recent ones that people keep asking about if it's fixed or not. I also do see a few ways that this could break this, and I also already know a few ways that this one still works even though they thought they fixed it. So I will definitely be putting them out, but I will explain later in the video why I haven't even put that out yet. But just know that this is a temporary patch. This one will be back very soon, probably in the next week. Next up is the Cursed Treasure exploit. Well, I said this would be a good exploit if the other ones got fixed, and here we are. I was not personally able to test this because none of my friends were on at the time of recording this, and I needed to get the rest of these out to you guys because you guys were just asking for what was fixed and what wasn't. But from what I see in the patch notes and based off other information that I have, I am pretty sure that this exploit is not fixed, and this one may take quite a bit longer for them to fix. So I could be wrong, Please let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong on that one, but this one should still work if you have the 3 people to do it with. And lastly, for my exploits, is the Skull of Destiny exploit. This exploit still exists, and I don't see it going anywhere soon. That's just kind of because of how the quest works. It's not patched in any way. I was able to replicate this very easily, just like I was when I made the video a week or two ago. And that's just kind of how this quest is built to work. It's supposed to be a quick, easy quest that just spawns on the nearest big island, so I don't see this one really going anywhere soon, and I kind of think that might be a little bit harder for them to fix. Now, there are a few more exploits that were patched, but these are not ones that I posted. However, I would like to go over them just because I see them in the patch notes, and I know that some of you guys that are doing all these exploits might want to know about these being patched as well. The first one explained in the patch notes is that players can no longer use a storage crate to generate additional resources from their ship's barrels. Now, this was an exploit, and I actually saw it with 2 storage crates, but I'm sure you could do it with barrels as well, when you'd log out in the middle of transferring resources from one storage crate to another. The reason I didn't post about this was because a lot of people were getting banned for it, and I don't like to post anything that involves you leaving the game, tabbing out of the game, because that's not part of the game. That includes doing something outside the game. So I find that to be quite a bit more bannable than just regular exploits. But this has also been patched, so even if you did think about doing this or wanted to do this, you can't anymore, so that one's been fixed. The second one is that buried treasure will no longer migrate with the crews across servers. The way that people were doing this was they were burying treasure, and then when they would go across servers, they would be able to dig it back up even though they didn't have the map. And people were doing this to stack raid loot and stuff. It wasn't actually that helpful of an exploit, which is why I didn't post it, and there were plenty of videos about it, but it really wasn't that helpful or detailed. It just was something that allowed you to stack without getting sunk. So it was cool though, and it's no longer there. And lastly is crews diving to an experience or faction battle and surfacing alongside another ship should no longer encounter issues where the items on board their ship become non-interactable. That is not an exploit, that is a bug, but it was so bad that I had to make a tutorial on how to fix it because a lot of people were having problems with it, including myself. So pretty much just in layman's terms, it means that when you'd come up for a raid battle, you'd go to a skeleton fort or something, that some things like the harpoon or the cannons, the anchor would you just wouldn't be able to interact with it. And if you were solo, there was almost no way to get around this. You would just have to log out and lose your loot and relog. So I'm really glad that they fixed that. I know that's not an exploit, but I am glad because I've talked about that on my channel that they did fix that. And as I said at the beginning, I want to shortly talk about the anti-cheat system that they put in and my opinions on why that's a great thing. They are using an anti-cheat system called Easy Anti-Cheat, and it's in a ton of other games. And if I understand correctly, it's been developed by Epic and is used in almost all of the Epic games. All I know is that it's an actually quite effective anti-cheat, and it's going to take a while for them to actually integrate into the game, but it looks like it's going decently so far. So hopefully soon the seas will be free of flying, teleporting, and keg spawning, as well as the other cheats that made things pretty hard to play the game at times. And I'm quite positive that this will also have a ton of bugs. Just like all the exploits that I post, everything that comes out in this game is quite broken at first, but hopefully we can look forward to it working perfectly soon. Now, I do love exploits, but I'm not a fan of hackers that bring outside software into the mix and sometimes even compromise your personal data in the process. I see how some people don't like that I post exploits, but taking people's like personal information or like completely just like crashing their PC or DDoSing, stuff like that is not cool. That is terrible. Outside software being brought into the game is definitely bannable. So I am just very happy to see that they're trying to make moves to take that out rather than just punishing players for doing little things like exploits. I also want you guys to know that also want you guys to know that more exploits are on the way. Now I know it's been pretty quiet lately on my channel as far as exploits, but it's been kind of like chess. I needed Sea of Thieves to make their moves to see what they were going to fix before I could make mine, so that way I could figure out what exploits still worked and which mechanics still worked for exploits in the future. And I didn't want all of them to get patched at once. I want these to be quite sustainable for quite a while. So look out for more exploits, and if you guys find any, I would love to hear about them. Please let me know. Please let me know how to do them. Let me know everything about them, and I will pin you in the video because a lot of those are how I have found different exploits that I post on my channel. And if you find one like that, you could help thousands of people figure out how to make better money in Sea of Thieves. So please do that. As I said at the beginning of the video, I'm trying to reach to 5,000 subscribers, and if you guys could help me get there, that would mean a ton. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.